So how much did yesterday's Tesla Supercharger session cost me? Let's do a little bit of number crunching and try and find out. Welcome back to the channel, folks. JD here again. So yesterday I visited my first Tesla Supercharger with the Tesla Model 3. I'd never used the Supercharger before. I wasn't even sure that it was going to work. I have registered my payment details on the Tesla account, but I also have got 1,000 free Supercharger miles, I think. So I was hoping that it would work and I wouldn't have to pay. Now, stupidly, at the end of the session, I forgot to take a note of the charge, or the theoretical charge that I would have paid. So I'm going to see if I can look at how much charge happened yesterday, and we'll try and work out how much it would have cost, because a few of you I know have placed comments on the video and asked me if I would try and answer that. So do check out the video from yesterday. It was quite an exciting ordeal for me, not for my wife. She couldn't understand the excitement, but I thought it was quite entertaining. It was even more entertaining when we got lost, and I apologise for the expletives, but it got a little bit exciting when I was trying to work out where I was going. Anyway, so let's have a look. So I downloaded the other week a different Tesla app called Tesla Plus. And it tells you a few more bits of information than you get on the standard Tesla app. Hopefully that will focus. Come on, come on, come on. Are you going to focus? Are you going to wake up? There we go. Eventually we got there. Okay. So, and it lets you do all sorts of things, you know, remote opening of the car, Sentry mode, all that kind of thing that you can do on the normal app, but it does give you a bit more information. So it tells me there, look, currently that we've got 72% charge, 229 estimated range, 238 ideal range, blah, 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 blah. But I realized this morning, if you scroll along twice, it also gives you what I can only assume is the previous charging session. And you can see there that it tells me that on the last charge, 34.03 kilowatt hours were added. So that must be yesterday's supercharging session. So from that, we can work out quite a few bits of information. So remember that, 34.03. So what I'm going to do is just nip over to this little spreadsheet. So if you remember yesterday, when I arrived at the supercharger, I had 36% of battery remaining. So I'm going to put that in there. And I set the charging limit to 80. Now people said, why did you set it to 80 and not 100? And basically that's because I wasn't going on a long journey. And for daily use, they do say, certainly on this particular model of battery, I know it's different on the new standard range plus models, it's best to keep it around 80% and then charge it to 100% now and again. So that's why I limited it to 80%. So how much therefore did we add in that supercharge yesterday? Well, obviously we added that minus that. So we added 44% battery, if you like. Now, we can therefore work out if 44% equates to, whether you can see this camera's being really slow to focus. Come on. I'm going to have to do it manually. No, I can't do it. Oh, can we do it manually? There we go. Right, 34.03. So if 34.03 is 44%, then if we take 34.03 and divide that by 0.44, it will tell me that the maximum capacity of that battery, or usable capacity, is 77.34 kilowatt hours. So that must mean that my car, the Made in China 2021 March edition, if you like, has the newer 85 kilowatt hour battery, because it's looking here that its usable is 77.3. So I think the previous models were what, 78? So I doubt that a 78 kilowatt hour battery has a 77.3 kilowatt hour usable capacity. So I'm assuming I've got the 85 kilowatt hour battery. So full capacity therefore 77.34. So we added 34.03 kilowatt hours, and I don't know what the unit price was, but looking on Google, it appears that the average unit price at a Tesla Supercharger is 28 pence per unit. So quite a lot more than I pay at home. Overnight on Octopus Go Faster, you can use my referral code if you want to join Octopus, is 5.5 pence between 8:30 and 1:30, and about 15 pence outside of that. So it's quite a bit more money, but obviously, as you saw from the video, they're super convenient. They work straight away and you get really, really rapid charging. So 28 pence we'll assume is the unit price. So that means yesterday's session, in theory, if I'd have paid, would have cost me that multiplied by 34.03, so £9.53 that session would have cost yesterday. So for anybody who asked in the comment section, I thought it was about 12 quid, I don't know where I got that from, but it looks like it would have cost £9.53. So what does that work out at a pence per mile? Well, if we assume that I'm getting 4 miles per kilowatt hour, so about 250 watt hours per mile on average, sometimes it's down to about 220, sometimes it's a little bit higher. So if we assume 250 watt hours per mile, that gives us 4 miles per kilowatt, which means if we take 0.28 and divide that by 4, we get 7 pence per mile, even at a supercharger. Now that is still super cheap. Let's take my previous car. So my previous Porsche Macan used to average about 32 miles per gallon. Okay, so Macan was 32 mpg, and a price per gallon of UK diesel at the moment is about let's say, I can't spell today, gallon. A price per UK diesel gallon thing, I can't speak. A price per gallon of UK diesel is about 130.9 per litre. Times that by 4.545, we get £5.95 roughly a gallon. Okay, so pence per mile in my Macan at today's prices would have cost me about £5.95 over 32, about 18.5 pence per mile. Okay, so you can see even at a Tesla public supercharger, we are still paying less than half, quite a lot less than half, about 40% I would say. So 18.5 pence per mile in a diesel Macan, 7 pence per mile in the Tesla Model 3 at a supercharger. The other thing we could work out is, in theory, at that pence per mile, what is our kind of Mpg equivalent? So how could we do that? Well, if we know that a UK gallon of diesel is 5.95, so if we divide 5.95 by 7 pence per mile, it's the equivalent, believe it or not, of 85 miles per gallon. So 85 miles per gallon based on today's price of diesel is what I'm getting in the Tesla Model 3 at that Tesla supercharger. I hope that makes sense, but as you can see, it's still pretty cheap even if you're charging at a public charger, assuming 28 pence per unit. Okay, I hope that was useful. As always, please fling me an email if you want a copy of either of the two spreadsheets. The first being the PCP spreadsheet, where you can compare deals and work out your settlement figures and your voluntary termination figures and that kind of thing. And the second one, if you are thinking of, if you're a company director and you're thinking of setting up an employee salary sacrifice scheme for electric vehicles, or if you're just interested to see what it would cost, there's a copy there as well. And each of these are a one-off payment of £10, and that will include as many updates as I care to make. Okay, do continue to watch. Please comment and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.